Welcome to Sith Talk, brought to you by Gattacara and Lanyard, bringing you news from Star Wars The Old Republic and beyond. Join us now as we explore the universe and take down the Republic in a galaxy not so far away. Welcome everyone to a new episode of Sith Talk. As you can see, we've got Lanyard, as you'll hear in the near future, we've got Lanyard this week. Kevin was just back for last week, which kind of made us sad, but we definitely understand he wanted to give his much-needed notes on patch 1.3, and of course, he had complained so much on the show that he wanted to make sure everybody got his full effect as far as what he was doing and how he was enjoying it.
He'll be back. He'll be back in a few more episodes, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, Kevin is a much enjoyable part of this. As I told you guys after recording, it was really nice to have you and Kev back, or have Kevin back with us. And banter betwixt you and Kevin was enjoyable because I wasn't battling on either side of the front, which made me happy. But we do have a fair amount of news this week. I'd gotten bored and went onto the dev tracker to see what kind of notes and what kind of things have been flying around there. We've got a small bit of patch notes from the most recent downtime, and of course, Darth Vader has some coverage on what went down at the San Diego Comic-Con, and of course, there's a community Q&A for this week. We'll have all the links for the show in the notes, whether you're picking it up on Podomatic or whether or not you're watching us on YouTube. Either way, we'll have a little bit of goodness. Oh, yeah, and our iTunes subscribers will, of course, see it in the show's description when I upload that to Podomatic as well, and any other of the pod sites we use. As we do at the beginning of every show, we'll make sure and throw out our Audible sponsor. Of course, we did have a little deviation. We were throwing out audibletrials.com, and that was actually incorrect after reviewing emails again. It's audibletrial.com/Sith Talk. That gets you 30 days of free Audible service, and then, of course, one free book with that, and you can use it for any book. As we mentioned last week, we had one of our subscribers to the podcast actually win herself a free book from us, and so she's enjoying the Hunger Games Audible audiobook. Myself, I've got some great books. I've got Not Fit for Taco Bell from Adam Carolla. I've got Tough Shit, Stories of a Fat Guy Who Did Good by Kev Smith. So you guys, it's great no matter what you want to do. Audiobooks for me is a great way to either catch up on reading or get in the books that I might not have actually sat through. Sometimes when you're reading the book itself, it gets a little dry, it gets a little and the sound or the music or the reader, or the narrator for the book actually does draw you back into the book quite a bit, and that's great. And of course, if you do stay on past the initial 30 days, you throw a little bit more coin into our purse, and that helps us bring more things to you guys. Just a little update, since we're kind of, I guess we'll say we're in the housekeeping section for right this moment. We got a little bit of news. We almost broke we've actually broken our download record that we've had pretty standard for the last few months. It had been right about 500 an episode. We stopped just shy of 700 episodes is the point we started 500 downloads between our subscribers, which were nearly 500, and then our new listeners, which was somewhere around 270 or so. So we ended up with about 673 overall downloads for our most recent podcast, that being episode 21, and we want to thank everybody for that.
Thank you.
And then, of course, as some of you may have learned, we broke away from TGN. We don't make any money on the YouTube podcast, the YouTube version of the podcast, so we didn't see a reason to continually wait for our uploads. We want to get the news to you guys when it's relevant, before fucking Tuesday.
Right.
So we broke off on our own. You can find us at youtube.com/user/Sith Talk, or follow one of the links on any one of our various notes or podcasting or off of our podcast site, and it'll bring you right into there. And we of course have our own accounts, so we sub to it on our accounts. But beyond that, we've also gotten an additional 45 or so subscribers to our channel. So that really did strengthen our resolve and the idea that going our own way was a smarter option. And we want to thank the YouTubers for checking us out, for listening to our podcast, and for giving feedback, sometimes shit, sometimes good.
Hey, we take it all, you know. I mean, granted, constructive criticism would be preferred, but
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't like it, give us a reason why you didn't like it. The audio was shit, or I've seen that video 50 times. Don't you guys ever do any new PvP stuff? That type of stuff.
Yeah.
But just saying, oh wow, man, that guy's voice is fucking annoying. Yeah, that's not gonna. That's an ignore. We just we're not gonna take that into consideration. So you know, constructive criticism, good, bad, whatever. First, second, thirds, I don't care. Just yeah.
But we've gotten we had 275 views on that, which really puts us just shy of the 1,000 that we like to see every week. And of course that means we're getting a lot of shares across the board. So we want to thank everybody who's watching us on YouTube as usual.
All around the world.
You know, the one thing I didn't get is a stat I should have probably tried to pick up, which was our Twitter stat to see how many people have subbed to us on Twitter, but I forgot to do that before the show. And I'm not going to waste time during the show to do it. But on Facebook, we're up to 76 likes, which puts us, if I remember correctly, I think it's 26. I want to say 26 or no, 28 short of our 100 goal for the free time card. So as we already talked about on prior episodes, the game's not going FTP anytime soon. So help us get to that 100, and we'll do the drawing for the free time card. And you know, that's one of the big things, guys. Every little bit of support we get, anything that we can do to show you guys that we love you just as much as you enjoy us, is a big thing. Now, there was one piece of news I haven't gotten paid this week. Wednesday I'll get my paycheck, or Wednesday around midnight I'll get my paycheck, and I'm planning on, or hopefully going to, get Scott Johnson to do a ad for us on his shows, whether on one of his shows, whether it's the Instance or the Instance Tour Edition, because unfortunately Scott is talking about shutting down one of his podcasts, and I'm sure that his Tourcast is probably the one because he's not into the game as much, and I know that from listening to his show, if he's not into something, he's not going to continue to do a show, and I would like to pick up some of the people who are looking to get some of his news. So if you guys do listen to Scott Johnson's Instance program, or you listen to his Tourcast, I know he's got blogs that follow both shows. Feel free to throw our name up there, or let people know that we're out there through that cast, so it doesn't look like, well, what it is in our case, which is shameless self-promotion.
By the way, 17 following on us, the Sith.
17?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Come on, guys.
I know. Well, you know, we've got so many stinking things. At least if it's a combined effort. We've got Twitters for the tweeters. We've got the Facebook for the Facebookers. We've got our Sith Talk webpage. We've got a Sith Talk YouTube. So we're all over the place. So I think it's cool.
Lenny, you also said you were working with one of the guild launch type sites.
Yes. Actually, I was working with what's called Engine, ENGIN. And this here's what I put together. It's really easy to find. It's sithtalk.engine.com. If you guys want another way that you can follow us, I'm going to try to keep it up to date with just some informational stuff about what's going on with the podcasts. Maybe some behind the scenes type things. I'll try to put in there. There's links to that. It's also our official
site for the time being.
It's our official site for the time being. It's also our official guild website
right.
for our Sith Talk guild, which is
Wookiees taste like chicken.
That's right. So as you can see on here, I mean, it's kind of new, it's kind of fresh. I'm still putting it together. But what I like about it is it's got what we don't have in game, which is the event calendar. So I'm gonna try to keep that up to date as well. So like I'm gonna put down. If we happen to hear about some type of, a pre-launch type thing, I'll put that in the calendar as well. So if you'd like to go there, if you're part of Engine already, all you have to do is search for the Sith Talk. If not, it's free to sign up, so you don't have to worry about it. And what's really cool about it, for all the people that haven't done guild websites, is that you can put in all your links to your games, links to your characters, that type of thing, and people can kind of check you out. So yeah, that's sithtalk.engine.com.
And for some listening, I know you've got primary guilds. And we have one guy. Kiwi was one of the newest additions to our guild. He does have a primary server. He plays with his raiding guild on there. But he said the one thing that he really liked, he loves about his guild is he loves the fact that they're out there and they're beating down content. What he doesn't have is a social guild. Everybody gets invent, but it's only invent so much as so that they can get an operation done. And in our case, we're a social guild. We do ops when we have people to do ops, or we do ops, when we feel like it. It's not something we do every week. Yes, we would like to get into them more, but we're a social guild. We're there to shoot the shit. Right. And if you guys, you want to alt, you want to come hang out, we've got our guild vent. It's a 25-man I still pay for every month, or Kevin does, or someone else does, or somebody. Anyway, but we have a 25-man vent. So if you are a fan of the guild and you maybe feel like rolling an alt, but you really want to just, get in vent and hang out with us, we can get you the invent information. If you're on Prophecy of the Five, look up Wookiees, see if there's any of us on, and, we'll be happy to let you know. Just make sure that when you get in, you put a comment that says, show fan or Sith Talk fan, something like that, so Kevin doesn't flip out.
On that note, yeah, right. On that note, if you're going to do the Who search, you don't just put Wookiees, because there are several Wookiee guilds out there. So try to type in the whole name. Wookiees taste like chicken. It's not that hard. Or just look for one of us, Lanyard or Datacar or Sudo, so on.
Well, yeah, and I'm on Ricotta a lot lately. I like I said, I've remade Hot Chocolate. So he's been one of the ones I'm running on a lot, and then Gazzini. But we'll turn that'll eat up my week, and I want to get into my week.
Right.
So we'll break away from housekeeping and give a quick shout out to the Green Geeks. Green Geeks Web Hosting is one of our other sponsors. They 100% green. They offer unlimited web space, unlimited bandwidth for data transfer, unlimited hosting for domains on one account, unlimited email accounts, unlimited MySQL databases, free domain name for life, free site migration, free marketing credits, free website building with templates, and fantastic North American service. Their service starts out at about $4.95 a month, so not super big budget. You don't have to go crazy off the bat. They have 99.9% uptime, a 30-day money-back guarantee, and of course, no hidden costs and super fast activation. And when you use our code GGS30 off, you get $30 off of an annual contract, 2-year and a 3-year. $30 savings for you. Little bit of coin at some point or another in our purse. Once again, more fun for you guys in the long run. Yep. So we want to thank you for supporting all of our sponsors. If you do, if you don't, that's cool. We do the podcast pretty much for free anyway.
Which is the only reason. But I wanted to throw that note in. A lot of people will sit there and say, "Oh man, you're just out." We're not here to make money. We're not here to get rich off this. That's for sure. The reason why we have the sponsors is basically just to keep the show coming to you guys, the best quality we can do, and to keep the websites up so that you can find us. So.
Yeah. And in the early days, we were thinking about hawking it. We were throwing out and trying to get sponsors for the purpose of raising money so that we could afford to, in Kevin's case, upgrade equipment so we don't have video issues or lag issues. Would I like to be a podcaster professionally? Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, for right now, I work my 9 to 5, then I come home on Sunday nights after work and, jump right into Uvu and Skype and shoot the shit with my co-hosts and bring you guys all the information we can.
That's right.
So, well, now we've got 2 of our sponsors out of the way. We'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and put some time in here for my lovely wife, the Sudo, the Galactic Librarian.
Hello, this is Sudo, your Galactic Librarian, with the continuation of Star Wars: Lost Tribe of the Sith, Chapter 1. Corson made the connection. A cargo hold. The crystals were in a hold safely forward from the damage, in a place with viewports angled to see below. There was something under all that blue, after all, something that gave them a chance. "The port thrusters will light," she implored. "No, it won't," Corson said. "Not from any command on the bridge, anyway. We're going to have to do this by hand, so to speak." He stepped past the ailing Markham to the starboard viewport, which looked back upon the main bulge of the ship trailing aft. There were 4 large torpedo tube covers on either side of the ship, spherical lids that swiveled above or below the horizontal plane, depending on where they were situated. They never opened those covers in atmospheres, for fear of the drag they would cause. That design flaw might save them. "Gloyd, will they work?" "They'll cycle, once, but without power they're gonna have to set off the firing pins to open them." Devore gawked. "We're not going out there." They were still at terminal velocity, but Corson was moving too, bustling past his brother to the port viewport. "Everyone to either side!" Sela and another crewman stepped to the right pane. Devore, glaring reluctantly, joined her. Alone on the left, Yaru Corson placed his hand on the coldly sweating portal. Outside, meters away, he found one of the massive circular covers, and the small box mounted to its side, no larger than a comlink. It was smaller than he remembered from inspection. "Where's the mechanism?" "There." He reached out through the force. "Careful." "Top torpedo door, both sides, now." With a determined mental act, Corson triggered the firing pin. A large bolt released explosively, shooting ahead, and the mammoth tube cover moved in response, rotating on its single hinge. The ship, already quaking, groaned loudly as the door reached its final position, perched atop the plane of the Omen like a makeshift aileron. Corson looked expectantly behind him, where Sela's expression assured him of a similar success on her side. For a moment he wondered if it had worked. Thoom! With a wrenching jolt that leveled the bridge crew, Omen tipped downward. It didn't slow the ship as much as Corson had expected, but that wasn't the point. At least they could see where they were going now, what was below, if these blasted clouds would clear. At once he saw it. Land, indeed. But more water, much more. Jagged, rugged peaks rose from a greenish surf, almost a skeleton of a rock lit by the alien planet's setting sun, barely visible on the horizon. They were rocketing quickly into night. There wouldn't be much time to make a decision. But Corson already knew there was no choice to be made. While more of the crew might survive a water landing, they wouldn't last long when their superiors learned their precious cargo was at the bottom of the alien ocean. Better they pick the crystals out from among our burned corpses. Frowning, he ordered the starboard side crew to activate their lower torpedo doors. Again a violent lurch, and Omen banked left, angling toward an angry line of mountains. Rearward, a life pod shot away from the ship and slammed straight into the ridge. The searing plume was gone from the bridge's field of view in less than a second. Gloyd's torpedo crew would be envious. Corson thought, shaking his head and blowing out a big breath. Still people alive back there. They're still trying. Alright folks, that's it for this week. Tune in next week for the continuation of Star Wars Lost Tribe of the Sith, Chapter 1.
death.
It was a good episode. Choked you up.
Oh yeah. And my wife, I actually talked to somebody. I was a Kiwi, and there was somebody else, and they were like, "By the way, I just skipped past your wife's stuff."
Oh. Yeah.
And
Well,
my wife records because she enjoys it.
Right.
She likes being able to bring you guys something that you probably, like we can, something you could have read on your own if you chose to. But it's her contribution, and once I think she's done with that book, she may move back on to the the galactic stats and stuff like that, back into some of the history, just to give you guys a little bit of variation. If you have content and you're like, well, I like the Galactic Librarian, but if you've got content, you can submit your MP3s to sithtalk@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to take a look at them. And if there's something beyond burp and fart jokes, we'll probably play them. We're always looking for content, and me and Lanyard are constantly joking about, oh man, in the middle of the show, I really got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Anytime we can get a break.
Yeah, because we try to get everything in one take, and sometimes it works, sometimes not so much. So, as some of you may have heard, there was an Easter egg at the end of last week's episode.
Mm-hmm.
So if you listened past the outro, you would have heard a little extra snippet of some of the fun that happened. I only cut a couple seconds out because there's about a 15-minute downtime where Lanyard and I and Kevin were diverging into how hot the chick who voices over Mako is.
All sorts of fun.
And it even got Lanyard onto the thing of, instead of calling our server the Prophecy of the Five, he was calling it the
Party of the Five.
Well,
I'm trying my best, and I don't have any of the earlier episodes, but I'm trying my best to save all the raw footage for either video or the audio, and sometime down the road, I will put together a worst of, and we'll have that as right. We'll have that as.
You know what? We're always talking about ways we can help support the podcast.
Yeah.
Podomatic offers a premium. So maybe we'll do a worst of episode and see how many people want to see how bad the fuck ups are on the show.
Well, like I said, I'm trying to save as many. I don't have any of the early episodes. So if you or Kevin, if you have any early episodes with some of the goofy stuff that you guys were into, I'd be more than happy to put that together as a montage. That'd be fun.
But at this point, I think we'll go into our week. Lanyard, you've been a busy beaver. What have you been up to?
I did dailies finally. I'm back up over 1 million creds, which I'm happy. I was at 1.3 at one point I was at 3 million creds, but then I started doing ops and lost all that.
Jesus.
Yeah, well, repairs and upgrading augments.
I know.
Anyways, so I'm back up beyond 1.3, which is great because I actually was able to get some dailies in. I had to force myself to go in and do the dailies, and then I ran around with Lanyard's father, and to get him some gear because he's my DPS guy. So we did some hard modes and stuff like that. I worked with Zuzu, did some more PvP with her because, like I discussed last week, just not getting into flashpoints fast enough. So I'm thinking I'm going to be changing her to healing, and just to get into flashpoints to level her up. And I was talking with Vort earlier, and he was asking if I had any low-level tunes because he wants to go run around and do stuff. And at first I was like, oh yeah, sure, I got Zuzu. We can go do missions. And I was like, but I can't leave the station. He's like, that would break it. But I might end up doing that. So yeah, that's pretty. That, believe it or not, is my week. Real short, sweet. It was just dailies. Dailies, a little bit of PvP running, and no ops. I finally did get a hold of Dino. She's going out of town, but yeah, they haven't done anything in a while either. So that's why they haven't gotten a hold of us.
It wasn't just poop on us. Okay.
It wasn't just Lanyard sucks as a tank. No, it was just they haven't done anything in a while either. They've been working on other things, so they're taking.
Well, yeah, and they're just like us. They're an alcoholic. So it's understandable.
Exactly. and casual. So that's it. That's nice short. Well, I did some space stage. Oh, that's it. Space battles. I did. I've almost got Landray up to 200 and I think it's 225 space comms, whatever they're called. Yeah. Well, and considering you get 3 or 7. But if you do the dailies, man, you get a lot of dailies if you do all of the stuff. Because like I've told you before, there's like 8, 9, 10, 12 dailies you can do. And that's how you get your comms. I'm trying to get the Imperial Pilot's helm because it's the only helmet for them that I've liked on my Marauder. It's the black helmet that you see like in the original Star Wars film.
Yeah. The
guys sitting there when they're going to blow up the planet and they're turning the Death Star on. It's that cool one. So I'm gonna get that one. So yeah, that's about it. That's it. That's everything.
Well, shite. Yeah, I was busy this fucking week.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about my week. I didn't even let you fucking intro it.
That's fine.
Well, okay, one of the things we talked about on last week's show was that since looking for group and since we got to the super server, none of us had played on our pub. So I actually got bored and I played on Nolani for a little bit. And I had so I had logged on onto her in so long I forgot what role she played. Because I logged into her for a minute after they reset my bounty hunter's talents to reset her talents, but that's all I'd done.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot I made her a tank for a minute. So I actually got the tank Ethelis from the pub side, which was it's the exact same fucking run. It was all the pub's fault instead of it was all the Imperial's fault instead of like when you're playing on the Imperial side, it's all the pub's fault. Right. And I got to go through that run, which was cool. I totally forgot her professions. She had slicing, scavenging, and archaeology, which meant we got to use the elevator, we got to take all the shortcuts, and we got through it a lot faster.
Nice.
I have to
robots?
We killed. Yeah.
No. Did you slice the robots for help?
Yes.
Yes.
I even got the droids.
Do you know you can heal those things? As a healer, you can heal them suckers up, bubble them, and everything just like a regular player. And the only thing that kills them, if you do it right, is that they just time out. They time out and they die. But we got one. I did an earlier run with Zuzu because she's got the little side healing stuff.
Yeah.
So because I knew the healer wasn't going to heal the bot, because they're. Yeah. So I kept healing the robot, and the one guy's in party. He goes, "Wow, this thing's really lasting a long time." I never knew you could heal the thing. So yeah, I mean, he lasted all the way through to the boss, the final boss. So that was cool.
Yeah, we took. I actually got the first droid lasted me to I think it was like the second boss, the first boss in the tunnels, which was actually pretty cool. And of course, like you said, the healers don't know that they can heal them. So the only time the droid actually got healed was when they dropped an AOE heal.
A purple puddle.
Well, in their case, it was a Kolto bomb.
Oh, okay.
But,
yeah.
It was pretty cool. We went through with a couple troopers, and it was fun. It was weird to be on Nolani. It was interesting to see that I hadn't played with her any of her stuff because she got archaeology and slicing and everything. And it was funny because I've never gotten to take those shortcuts. I'm like, oh, what's this glowy thing? Click,
nice.
Walk through a wall.
Yeah,
shortcut.
Right? Nice.
So that was pretty cool. I didn't do. I would guess I didn't do a bad job holding aggro because no one was bitching at me.
Right.
Everybody was just down for the fun. Like I said, previously I remade Hot Chocolate. He is a healer.
This is like Hot Chocolate the third.
Hot Chocolate the fourth. I've remade him 4 times. The problem is that when I made him the first 2 times, when I made him the first time, he was a sniper, and I don't like that class. I remade him as an operative because I like poking people with knives, and then I remade him again because I unlocked Miraluka, but it was on a different server, and then I did it again this time because I wanted him to be a Miraluka instead of a cyborg. Because while the round red glasses were cool, his tiny little bar across his eyes is even cooler. And he's a lot of fun to play on. He's really easy to heal with right now. Then there was Gazini, who's made it to level 21. as of me going to work today.
Nice.
He's it's really fun taking on him. It is a little frustrating at low levels because there's not enough boss mechanic or enough aggro mechanics in most of the low end runs to make it behooving of someone to not jump in Marauders and not piss me off Assassins. Yes.
No, I was counting the behoovings.
Yeah, well, and it's not until really in what is it? I've done Black Talon. It's a 2-man. You take 4 people. You can run through it. Yeah. You go into what's the one after that? I know it's not Ethelis because I haven't run. I only ran Ethelis once with him.
Yeah, Ethelis is the second one, but after that, Hammer Station.
Hammer Station. Well, actually, Hammer Station's only level 16 mob, so I think that one's before Ethelis.
It's Black Talon, Ethelis. No, Ethelis you're thinking is pub side.
No, is it? No, Ethelis is pub side.
Ethelis. Then it's not Aethys. Aethys.
Aethys, that's what it is. I always say it wrong.
Yeah.
My wife get into an argument about that all the time. But I've been taking on him, and he's been having a lot of fun. I found a upgradable chest piece that I think I might keep with him for the long haul because it has absolutely no shoulders. It's got some cool design on the chest, a nice design on the back, and it's just flat black and gray. I like that.
Hot chocolate?
I don't like all the... No, on Gazini.
Oh, on Gazini. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Well, Hot Chocolate picked up the long trench coat with the mock turtleneck, and I like that outfit, so it'll probably be a
the only downside, I can't wait to see Hot Chocolate when he's 50, because I know you're going to, well, no, that's a smuggler. God damn it.
Yeah. No, he's not going to get the...
really cool hat.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But I've been playing on them. Of course, I played on Rakat. I did some dailies on him because I'm buying my way to 400 in the... what is it, Biochem?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Biochem. And I'm buying my way to 400 on the other thing, which was, implant making?
Cybertech?
Cybertech, yeah.
Cool.
So I'm buying my way to 400 on both of them because that's what
I need a sensor unit.
Yeah, and when he gets to 400, motherfucker, I'll do it. But I had a lot of fun on Rakat, and I didn't run as many groups on him because we're trying to help the wife get Benson Rakat her tank leveled up, or geared up, I should say. So we actually, so we were running that one run, and I got pissed off. Lost Island. Lost Island regular and heroic this week I got depressed on. We were running the regular version with Benson Rakat, my wife's tank, and I think you were on one. You were on your Marauder.
Yep.
Your Marauder, and my nephew. I think either Vort came in for a little bit on his sniper.
Vort came in with a sniper. Yep.
Sword, and we got to the robot. Just for some odd reason, we couldn't get the mechanic down, and I got pissed off about that.
Yeah.
Well, then I went and got on a heroic, and it was my first time on Nagajalokia healing that on heroic.
Mm-hmm.
Or on hard, excuse me, guys. I don't want to piss off the people who don't play WoW anymore.
Right.
So I got in there, and it was smooth as everybody was learning the mechanics. The problem was I ran out of force entirely too hard. If you guys run Lost Island, you get to the robot, if you have a fucking interrupt, fucking use it.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I felt like shit because my heals weren't popping off as quick as they needed to. They were missing the interrupts when they needed to, so the damage was just coming fucking too fast.
It's an insane fight. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's simple mechanics, but it's just hard. I mean, it's hardcore. I mean, it hits hard.
It sadly enough, the run comes down in both hard mode and regular mode as if in that particular fight you don't hit your interrupts, you're fucked. I got frustrated with it and just ended up leaving it for that. That's why I have ults.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, all in all, man, it's fun. I'm loving looking for group. I'm still loving that. I was gonna get into a PvP match on Nilani, and unfortunately, I got pulled into a mission, a flashpoint, so that didn't work.
No PvP yet, huh?
No, I'm probably gonna hit some PvP on Tuesday. I'm getting a little bored with the flashpoints, and it's getting to the point that I'm getting frustrated with just doing FPs all the time. So I'll probably go back to the idea of murking people in PvP. And because it's what I enjoy doing, and on my op I can heal. On Hot Chocolate I'll be able to heal, and I'll be able to slice people up. So either way I win. So that's probably where I'll head with that. But
Cool.
that is my week. Big
Nice.
fun, tons and tons of flashpoints, tons and tons of leveling shit up.
Nice.
It's been fun.
Yeah, cool. I wanted to make sure. I know we got a couple listeners in the guild, and I wanted to make sure we say hi to Antilles and Kiwi, and Vaughn. I also want to apologize to Antilles because I know that the other day we were getting into End of Torvix, and we filled up the group just as he whispered and said, "Hey, I'd like to do it," and so I want to apologize for that because I would have rather have ran with guildies, but
Yes.
we missed out on that. So sorry about that, Ant.
I will say one caveat to that. Ant, if you would have been in Vent, we would.
Right? I mean, that's why we have Vent. Our theory on our guild is this: if you're not in Vent, that means you want to play and be quiet. You want to be alone and just do, and that's fine. We'll say hi in guild chat, but we're not going to chat in guild. Just don't do it.
I'm too lazy to talk.
Yeah. So if you want to say hey or whatever, just hop in Vent. I know you have the info. You don't have to talk in Vent. You don't even have to listen to us. Just say hi.
At least leave the fucking sound out.
Well, leave it so you can hear us talking. Yeah. So if we're calling your name, hey, you want to go do this? You're not ignoring us. But anyways, the other thing I wanted to say was because that brought me up. We were over in Corellia, and I know I've been saying everybody's wearing my Black Talon gear. And everybody's, I've always been saying, well, they got the Black Talon chest piece, and of course that makes everything blue and white, and their helmet's different. I finally ran into one guy that had the exact same helmet, the exact same pants, the exact same everything, and we ran with him on that end of Torvix, and he was guildless, so I went ahead and invited him to the guild because he has good taste in gear. And Captain Planet, yeah, and then shortly after he quit, but no explanation. But whatever. So I'm thinking I might have to find a new unique look because everybody's wearing Lanyard's gear, man.
Dude, it's hard to find. I hate to say it, it's hard to find a unique group a unique outfit because. If you're wearing straight ricotta or straight Chinese or what have you, and that's something else. You guys are always looking for orange. If you are wearing class appropriate gear or character appropriate gear, you can change out the mods that you have to purple gear.
Right. You can.
So you
can be wearing
purple
green
gear as well.
You can be wearing green if it's a modifiable green and put purples in it.
But what I'm saying is, everybody's looking for orange modifiables. I found that great chess piece while we were running Sudo through Battle of Ilum. And I hated the gigantic, nasty, fucking cone-shaped shoulders that came from my Kalomi set. So I pulled the mods out of my Kalomi, threw it into this level 30, item level 136 chest, or it's like 126. I don't remember, but it wasn't modded up to like my Kalumi was. Yeah. So I pulled the mods out, put it in there, and now I have a chest piece that I can wear as long as I want, and it looks good. It doesn't have fucking huge.
The one thing I've noticed about the purples though is that sometimes when you pull the mods out, at least all the purples I've ever switched out, if you get a purple drop and it's a modifiable, and you take the mods out of that to put it in something else, it has to be the same type of gear. So it has to be a chest, or it has to be boots. So because I found that out because I had gotten a boot drop, but I was like, well, I really can't use these boots, but I can use these mods. And then when I went to go put them in the character that I needed the mods for, I didn't need them in his boots. I needed them in the chest, and then it says you can't place them in there because it has to be in boots. So I was like, so I had to pull them out of the boots that he had, and then switch things around. But
but if you do find a chest piece that you think you like, or a helm. I know there's not a ton out there that really speaks to everybody, but just pull the mods out, pop them into something else. Whether it's a purple, if you can swap mods out, use it. Swap mods if you like it better. In your case, you were really loving Black Talon. Unfortunately, everybody on God's Creation has it now. Which it is a cute set, but it's not that fun.
Cute.
Yeah, it's adorable. It looks so pub, fuckers. Yeah, rub your face. But we did have one shout out. I was out advertising the show when I was on Drummond Casa on Gazzini, and Butillo said, "Love you guys," which was awesome. You know, there was someone who said I was ruining his RP moment. Hold on, make sure RP moment. We're in an MMORPG, guys, but we also play on a PvP server, so get your head out of your ass.
Yeah.
So, because I made the joke, well, fine. In that case, the Galactic News Network wants to let you know that Sith Toss has a fantastic update on the iTunes market. And the guy's like, no, please, just do the podcast. So apparently, alternative advertising, not a key. But yeah, and that's BUTEO. So I'm happy he said, love you guys. And we also saw a guild out there, and we want to do a guild of the week. The name, and I didn't type it down, and I apologize. So if I fucked it up partially, and there's someone on Prophecy of the Five that is in the guild that this refers to, I apologize for not getting it perfect. But as my memory serves, it was called "Shut Up, Woman, I'm Playing," which
Good
is a bit
name.
sexist, but it was hilarious because I'd never seen it before. It was the first time, and I'm like, wow, that's fucked up. I bet there's a bunch of chicks in that guild.
Right.
But you know, it's odd that we run into guild names that aren't very much what you would expect in a SWTOR game. You know, we linked a hat in Facebook, and it's actually one of the guilds on our server that was having fun ganking in heroic areas. You know, lots of great guild names, and as we find ones we like, we'll let you know. And if you're playing on a different server and see what you really think is cool or just really funny, go ahead and send that to the sithtalk@gmail.com, and we'll get your guild out there. If you just want a guild shout out, hell yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Just make sure if you send us a guild shout out that you put your name, your server, and your guild's name.
Yeah.
We tell people where the fuck you are.
Just don't say, hey, shout out my guild.
But we're getting a little long in the tooth, and we want to save a little bit of the BSing for the after the news.
Got it.
So at this point, we'll go ahead and cut into the news. Here's your Galactic News. Look what you missed while you were sleeping. All right, so this week we've got Dev Tracker, we've got patch notes, we've got all kinds of crazy shit. So we'll start things off as we usually do with patch notes. There was a fair list, not overwhelmingly large. So I'm going to zoom through these as fast as we can. As we've told you guys before, the free trials allow anyone to create a Star Wars The Old Republic account and play up to level 15 free of charge with no time limit. So if you want to get to 15 and all you ever want to see is Drummond Koss or oh shit, what's the other one? What's the pub side? Pub side flag. Come on.
Drummond Koss, Coruscant.
Coruscant, there we go. If you want to just hang out on Coruscant or Drummond Koss and shoot the shit for the rest of your life, you're more than welcome to, according to BioWare and Star Wars. Under classes and combat, the stat bonuses derived from buffs that increase attributes and ratings are now correctly removed when the buff expires. So that's good-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Bounty hunters under arsenal tracking, target tracking, unload now correctly benefits from this skill's critical damage. Apparently they weren't picking up the extra critical when speccing into that. With the commandos, deadly cannon, full auto, which is the version of unload, now correctly benefits from that critical damage. Under flashpoints are fucking Lost Island. Players now receive social points during the Dr. Lorik's conversation. So apparently that was a slight misstep. Let's see. Under Group Finder, characters no longer rarely, like it didn't happen that often. Characters no longer rarely become stuck in the empty group. Characters previously affected by this issue will find it resolved upon logging back in. So if you got stuck somewhere or got stuck in a group, and couldn't quit that without getting the debuff, it's now fixed. Players are now informed that pressing the update roles button is required in order to change current roles in the group. Groups formed by the Group Finder now properly handle the dismissal of companion characters, because there was a UI bug with that I saw where companions were still shown in the party, which was kind of queer.
My companion's weapon usually stays when he disappears.
Weird. Let's see. Groups formed for planetary destinations no longer see the travel dialog when clicking Group Finder button. Let's see. Players no longer see an invalid group state after changing roles when queued inside an active phase. The Leave Group button now displays a tooltip describing why the button can only be pressed by the group leader. The Leave Queue button.
They have to explain why. They can't just say, "You're not the group leader."
No. Laney, can you take over for a minute for me?
Sure. Let's see. Right out next to the group finder says corrected a rare issue that could allow characters under level 10 to open group finder. I thought they fixed that last week, but apparently they did not. So, moving along, there's just a ton of them here. Players who have obtained initial Flashpoint missions, generally to travel to Fleet and speak to Satil or Malgus, who will grant the missions to complete the flashpoints, will notice these missions are now completed when the player is granted, whether by group finder or by sharing, the mission to complete the flashpoint. The queue group button is no longer enabled if a group leaves the queue to find a replacement while in active phase. Let's see, the role icon and name now match correctly in the voice kick window for players who are being kicked, which is great. Let's see, what else we got here? Players can no longer press the update roles button repeatedly on the invalid group dialog. This could cause several fly text messages to be displayed to other players. Okay. Players now, there's just a ton of them for this looking for group. That's all like farted up. Players now receive an error when attempting to invite players manually as replacements for group finder group. Now, see, we had a problem with that, and that bugged the shit out of me because we lost somebody in our group, and one of our guildies popped in, and we're like, "Oh, cool, we'll bring him," and we couldn't invite him. And so we all had to leave. We had to go out of the flashpoint, and then we were able to invite him. And then he couldn't go in because apparently he was set to hard mode, so we had to bust out again.
His phase.
That was a freaking nightmare. We know how to do it now, but you'd think that it could just pop up saying, the person you're trying to invite is set to hard mode. Okay. Savan, go change back to easy mode. Okay, got it, easy mode. Okay, invite. Boom. Done. Yeah. But no, it was a pain in the ass. Role selection window now closes automatically when replacement player is found, because it's so hard to click close. If player manually enters a flashpoint or operation they are queued for, excuse me, they can no longer use the group finder button. So it looks like there's tons of group finder fixes that they fixed. Items in general. Ratings now update correctly on items when their armor mod has been removed. It's nice to know. Equipping a relic that has an on-use ability now triggers the relic's ability on cooldown. Okay. So like in WoW, the same thing happened with trinkets. Players can now receive the Kurtab Alliance Speeder via in-game mail by referring a friend that subscribes to the game. So, yeah. And you know what? I got to thinking. The more and more I see those things running around, I'm not that thrilled with it. At first, I was like, I've got to get one. It's all over Facebook going, oh, yeah, I'll be getting that. I'm not all that excited about it.
Well, and I was really excited because I thought, this is a great way to get people into the game. I started telling my wife, this would be great. We had some of the people that quit the game. Yeah. Or maybe we have, listeners who don't even play the game yet and are trying to figure it out. I thought, how much is it going to cost me? It's like $50 for the game, $30 for the fucking, for a subscription card. Mm-hmm. I could give those away, and I get myself a mount out of it.
$80 for a mount.
Well, Lanyard, I paid so much money to fucking Blizzard that it wouldn't be that big a deal, and it'd be helping someone who likes our show.
Just say
Just say
yes, it's $80 for a mount.
But it's also helping someone who likes to shut up. And shut up, because you were thinking about it too, Pecker.
No, I was thinking about buying a separate account for myself.
Exactly. That's self-serving. I was going to help somebody out in the ether. But And those freebies are possible in the future anyway. Not being mount related would be fun, but I've seen them so readily now. I mean, in WoW, everybody threw a big deal. Like, when one of the new mounts came out, whether it was from the TCG or, they were just selling it on their website, everybody would, oh yeah, fuck yeah, I gotta get them out. I gotta be the first one. I gotta be the only guy. And then you get in game and there's like 50 other motherfuckers that have it.
The only one I didn't see a lot of was the rideable chicken. Not a lot of people had that.
That was a hard to get card.
Yeah.
But, it's an okay mount. It looked completely different. But we were talking about it, and to be perfectly honest, almost every one of us can agree we'd rather have a mount that looks like a pod racer.
Yeah. Now, if you just take those jets and put them out front, rather than above your head, yeah.
Although it would make it hard to get through some of the places that we can sneak through with our tinier mounts. Let's see, under Legacy, let's see what it says here. It says the improved speeder piloting 2 and 3 perks no longer require the purchase of previous ranks, which is good if you've already purchased your rank on the previous one, and would allow, I guess, a little bit of help there. I do like that because it's kind of a waste of money if you have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that is a caveat to the idea that you paid for your initial speeder and you're just trying to upgrade early, or if that's just like, well, fuck, speeder piloting 1, I'm just going to go straight to 3, because you do have to buy piloting license 1 at a time as you're leveling too. So I have to take a look at that one. Yeah. I've got an Alter too. I think I haven't bought riding on. I know Nolani doesn't have it, so I'll play with that this week. The tooltip for the improved or advanced field repair droid now displays correctly the correct cooldown, which is long unless you buy it all the way through. Legacy UI no longer incorrectly informs players that they have completed the requirements for certain perks that are not yet eligible for purchase. Under missions and NPCs, it says Corellia's hypermatter directive. Players no longer, thank you, Jesus, receive an in-game or hypermatter supplies after completing the mission. I don't know what the hell that bug was, but that got on my damn nerves.
Weird.
And I kept deleting it, and I put in like 4 tickets for it between my characters. I'm like, stop giving me this shit. Or at least give it to me when I pick up the mission. Make it convenient.
The other thing I thought was funny is when you turn the mission in, they wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
But yet you didn't have them for the next mission. So you would think that maybe it was, but whatever.
Yeah, they would be showing in my inventory. I'd pick them up. I'd already turned the quest in by the time it procced. And, yeah, that was retarded. But good work.
They fixed it.
But they fixed it, so thank God for that. Yeah. See, under PvP...
They fix stuff like that, but they can't fix the fact that your mercenary keeps shooting shit long after it's been dead.
Here's a sad one, and for those of you who haven't played it, that bug has been
around since beta.
Blaster bug has it's been around since beta. As I reset my camera again, there we go. And for the thing that I do the least of, let's cover PvP. Almost made you blow.
Almost.
That would have been on video. That'd been epic.
Well, that would have been on the funnies. Yeah, would have been cut.
Get real for you. Literally.
Yeah.
So under general, it says the Warzone invitation window is now removed if a player is queued for unranked Warzones, while an invitation to a solo Warzone they were previously queued for is active. Whoa, I gotta read that again.
Yeah.
The invitation window is now removed if a player is queued for group unranked Warzone, while an invitation to the solo Warzone they were previously queued for is active.
Okay.
Sure. The result... That makes no sense. Guys, if you can interpret that Sanskrit, please email us at sith@gmail.com. The resolve bar now properly displays when a player is flagged for PvP and refreshes the UI outside of the war zone. So it's removing the war zone outside.
But the problem is, though, now I'm seeing, since they fixed this, now I'm seeing like I'll be running around in world PvP or whatever, and even though I don't have anything targeted, you know how it's blank, the UI will be blank, it still has the red outline where the resolve bar was.
Yeah.
Until I click on something else. So again, a major bug that needs to be fixed.
And this is interesting because I wondered if on my Juggernaut I could pull this off. It says in Hut Ball, characters are now immediately defeated if they attempt to enter the enemy team's protected spawn area. So apparently someone had figured out how to jump up there.
Well, yeah, I mean, if somebody's coming out,
douchebag move.
If somebody's coming out of their screen, they've got that ledge, right? So if you're standing there with like your Juggernaut or your Marauder or your anything that's got the leap, which pretty much is anything, I never even thought of that. That was like I never even considered jumping up there, pull a bunch of people up there, and they just camp. So they
well, I mean, it's so easy to camp them right outside of it anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
But, so those of you who were fucking them up in their spawn, you're now going to die.
And you're going to get the insta-kill like you have the insta-kill when the ball spawns, if you're standing directly on top of the ball.
I still don't understand that. Right on top.
Yeah,
it should have give me
like a 10-yard radius.
Like even a 1 meter radius would get you far enough
to where you can't click on it instantly. Right. Whatever.
And then we have under UI under UI it says the button that allows players to purchase additional cargo bay slots no longer occasionally becomes unresponsive. For those of you who were multi-clicking, which I think was a problem they had previously, fixed, it apparently broke again.
No, broke something else.
Yeah. Players can now bind. Bind the acquire focus targets to the key of their choice.
That is awesome because I as a tank or I haven't really run as a healer, but as a tank I always have or PvP as DPS I'll always have the tank on focus so that way I can attack his target because believe it or not, people, that's what you're supposed to do. So now you can actually have him on focus and then keybind that to attack your focus target, which is great because now if you get off track or if your tank changes target, you can instantly target that. That's cool.
I always figured, I guess it would make it easier if you. Okay, yeah. You're basically just instead of like when I launch into a fight, I have that tank as a
right. So you're a DPS. You're gonna have him as a focus target now, or I mean, as a healer, you're gonna have him as a focus target, so you can keep track of him right up front. Right. The attack wouldn't be as smart for a healer, but
well, no, I mean in the case of in that case, I could just focus the tank and
right. And then as a tank, if I'm running with just a 4-man. Then I usually have the healer focus, so I can keep track of my healer, make sure he or she is not dying, and then if I see him dying, I can attack the target that's attacking my healer. You see, tank the target.
Mm-hmm. And last but certainly never least,
the most important
favorite section, the miscellaneous bug fixes. An issue that could cause the sky on Corellia to appear black and prevent some visual effects on the Republic fleet. From displaying with bloom feature, bloom enabled, has been corrected.
That fixes for Kevin because that's what he likes to do. He likes to go to the planets and then look at the sky.
But the bloom?
The bloom for
bloom is when the flowers and shit come up.
No. It's an effect for lighting. It's a lighting effect.
I don't know. I have all the effects on, so
then you probably have bloom. If you turn the bloom off, you would only notice it if you were looking for it.
There we go. All right, so that covers us up for for that particular section as far as the actual patch notes. I did point out to Lanyard that I want to check out on a few little fun things I found on the dev notes. Mm-hmm. Under that, there was a great note from someone who was asking how in the hell people were able to sell at some point, for a little while at least, the mods from their War Hero gear. Which I thought quite industrious. Granted, if you have too many Warzone comps, you can't use them for shit anyway, so what else are you going to do but apparently buy those? So some industrious folks decided they'd try to pull them out and resell them.
Now what happens to the people?
Probably nothing.
That bottom.
Well, probably nothing. I mean, they're in their possession, so.
I should have found those, man. I would have totally took advantage of that.
Yeah, well, they were going for ridiculous money. I mean, we're talking $500,000 per mod. Or, there were some that were offering them up for about $1 million. It was actually pretty crazy. Yeah, it says here, how are players selling War Hero modifications and enhancements on the GTN? It says, hi folks, this was a very specific one-time issue that has now been resolved, and the maintenance has nothing to do with it. I'm going to close this thread as of it being resolved.
Mm.
So, they got that taken care of, and that's a major plus. Let's see. It says, hello there. We have discovered a bug in the group Finder UI that is now in known issues, and we are working on a way to resolve it. So it's interesting to see them getting to things so quickly. They don't put it where I'd like them to, but it's okay.
Right. Well, now you know where it's at.
Yeah, and as we suspected, and we were talking about on last week's notes, or in last week's show, they jumped on the 13th and said, "Hey, folks, just wanted to hop on and let you know that at no point will we be deleting your characters. Later this summer, when we automatically move, we will automatically move any remaining characters from their origin servers to their destination servers. More details about how this will work will be out, more details about how this will work out will be forthcoming. But I can assure you that that automatic character deletion is not going to happen for this upcoming move. Thanks, everyone." And that was from Jovith Gonzalez.
I told you Jovith listens to our show. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, well, and that was shortly after, a little after we did the podcast. But it's once again it's proof that we were right. They're not going to delete everything. So their consistency on saying, "Ooh, transfer now and get free shit," is really unnecessary. I mean, I understand enticing people back to the game, but to treat it like they're going to just dump it isn't going to work. Let's see what else we got here.
They'll probably get the people that they get transferred over by force are probably going to get the black hole anyway.
Yeah.
The black stuff anyway. So that's just a great giveaway.
We consistently use Darth Hader's website. I never realized that he was under the curse logos, but nevertheless, always get a lot of information from Darth Hader. Mm-hmm. He had a short thread up about what's next for server transfers, and BioWare responds to that saying, "Hey everyone, we want to thank players that have participated in our free character transfer service with strong destination populations. We hope that that you're enjoying the improved gameplay experience and are excited about receiving the Ganafari mini pet and the 25 black hole comms."
Wait, what? Back up. We hope that you are enjoying an improved game experience, and we are excited about receiving. Okay.
Receiving.
They haven't. I thought I said that they alluded that they already sent them out. I was like, wait.
So, end of the month.
End of the month.
But the Ganifari mini pet and the 25 black hole comms that we announced as part of the free character transfer reward program. Later this summer, we are taking steps to further strengthen the destination server population. Ultimately, we are working to transition all players to the designated destination servers in the free character transfer service to continue to enhance gameplay experience for current and new players. We have eliminated the option to create characters on selected origin servers, so the servers that used to be live, and they pulled us all off of. I was wondering if anybody would do that, like they'd be new to the game and like, well, this one's like low, I'll go there.
Hello.
And there's no one.
Hello.
That's got to be really freaky to just log into your first character. Yeah.
Even the NPCs are like, huh?
And as the dev note said, of course, it says later this summer, any remaining characters on the selected origin servers will automatically be moved to the destination servers. We will provide additional details regarding this, the automatic transfer process at that time.
Still doesn't tell me if they're going to ever allow us to transfer tunes by...
Dude, there's fucking 12 servers now. Where are we going to go?
No, I want to...
I want to pull my guys off the map, man.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, when they decide, they decide. apparently the end of the summer. It'll be our Christmas present. I'll buy you a couple transfers. You can buy me a couple. And then, of course, as everyone knows, we had the San Diego Comic-Con this month. And Lanyard, unfortunately, missed the boat on getting to go to that. Maybe by this time next year, through our viewers and our listener support, we'll go in tandem. Maybe even get a booth.
No, I was going to say, by this time next year, we're going to have a booth.
I fucking hope so. That'd be awesome.
And
Felicia, my very first
Felicia Day will be coming to look for us.
My very first Comic-Con, and to have a booth, that would be tits. That would be would be nerd nirvana.
Right next to the men's bathroom down Hall Z. But we got a booth.
We're not next to the really shitty food.
But food there.
Yeah, there's always that one booth that smells like anus,
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter what fair or what conference you go to. But it says, as you may have heard, they were having the conference this week. BioWare announced that they're going to be offering up some new a new hoodie as well as other merch on Jinx's website. They announced a new novel, Annihilation, mentioned. So more Star Wars Old Republic related books coming. Epic quest lines where players can gain legendary-like weapons from their journeys are going to be in the works. I'm a little fudgy on that one. It seems a little too out there in the ether. I don't know what a legendary-like weapon is. I don't think that in all actuality you can call some of the weapons that we have in game, because hilts are not that recognizable unless you're zoomed into your character. If anything,
they mean legendary.
I'm hoping they're talking about legendary status so that it's upgradable, or it's just so ridiculously over the top that it makes it interesting to have.
I don't think. Well, if they do it like they did with WoW with their legendary stuff, it was excessively overpowered shit, or it was only usable for a specific fight. Yeah. However, it was pretty recognizable. I mean, you could always tell when somebody was running around with the legendary bow or the legendary axes or whatever, because it was pretty standout.
Well, the one legendary bow had flowers. It's brought it out.
That was cool. I was always
Blessed Blade of Thunder Fury was
that was
a great two-handed weapon. But after a while, they didn't scale with the game, so it didn't make any difference. Yeah. It was there for a cock show at that point. Let's see. They're also talking about new storyline content within the next year or so. They were talking about near expansion quality product coming out later this year, so I'm assuming they're going to drop a little bit of story content at that point. New operation content, they wanted to let us know that new operation content will not make prior operations obsolete. BioWare will be keeping the itemization in mind as new content makes its way to the game, so they're not going to continually drop new content on us so that we get new tiers of gear, but they give us a new challenge.
Right.
Which I think is more important to me than upgrading gear nonstop.
Shoot, that would be nice.
That gets frustrating. As a casual person, it gets frustrating to have to keep upgrading when you just got done with the last bit of content, in the casual sense. BioWare, as usual, says that they're looking at the metrics as to how you're playing. That's war zones and ops, or doing things, or doing in-game for the future patches. So as they see people gravitating towards ops, they'll see what you do and don't like in the ops and maybe start bringing some tailor-made product out for us. Warzone, same thing. If they find out you guys like point-to-point battles more than you like the idea of doing the bombing runs, they may start to gravitate and literally program the game for you as you play. So that's a real fun idea.
That sounds like fun.
That to me sounds like something that no other game does. They only release content, and it's what they think will be cool.
Right, and a developer's nightmare. But yeah, that sounds like fun.
Well, it could be.
That's what they get paid for.
Yeah. They get paid an ass ton of money. To tailor-make some content would be a real nice way for BioWare to set themselves aside as a special space. One thing I said earlier to Lanyard before we did this was the BioWare loves mini games. So they're looking at possibly putting mini games into the game at some time in the future. This once again sounds kind of bizarre.
Bejeweled.
Well, when you're on your speeder mount, you can now play Bejeweled Kettle. And according to the EA conference call, according to the EA conference call back in I think it was March, they were talking about how minigame sales for EA has been a boon. So I'm guessing that minigame content inside the game would be a way for you not to notice the queue times.
Well,
but I don't see it being a necessity.
The space battles, in a sense, are a mini game.
Yeah.
Because it's you don't have to play with anybody. Right. It's a completely different, essentially a different game altogether. It's right. Different. You can play with only the mouse. So that's, I mean, if they're thinking of something similar along that lines, as long as it's not Pokemon with your pets, I guess it'd be okay.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they work that out. To be honest, and I don't know if this is too nerdy or too just out of the world. I think it would be kind of fun if maybe they did a tip of the hat to some of the past incarnations of Star Wars in gaming, to where the mini games were literally unlocking, say, I don't know, the Game Gear version of Return of the Jedi.
Mm.
Some of our listeners may go, "Fuck you, that's too off the charts. I don't want that." Listen, I have a Game Gear, and there is nothing more hilarious than you don't need to know where I play. But I play on my Game Gear, and there's nothing more funny than walking around as Luke and just being able to just barely jump and shoot a little blaster or whatever. So the mini games, if they did something like that, would be kind of cool. As long as it's not like Burger Time, I'm good.
Dig Dug.
Yeah. Root beer tapper.
Hey.
And then, of course, they added the last item he has on here is they will be continuing to add space missions and more features, of course, in the future. Cool. So if you can't get enough of the 15 or 20 space missions that they already have that are repeatable daily, repeatable all day long if you really chose to, more on the way.
Awesome.
And last, but certainly not least for this week's news, we've got a weekly Q&A. Once again, the Q&A much shorter. It has been getting shorter and shorter as the weeks go on. Looks like about 5 questions with a medium result as far as that goes. I'll go ahead and start off with the top one because I think it's kind of interesting. Ansel says that credit syncs appear to be one of the hot topics in the community right now. Are there any chances of severely lowering or possibly removing some of the early stage, early stage in the game? Of these early in the stages of the game, Damian Schubert says, now that 1.3 has been out, and legacy perks have been in the system for a while now, we will be looking at credit syncs, particularly the perks, to see how they are performing. It is quite likely we will make some adjustments based on what we've learned. So basically, they're looking at what we're buying, what we're interested in, what we have no interest in, so that in the future, legacy perks or character perks can be tailor brought in based on interest alone, which I think is good.
Yeah, I like that, and I love how Ansel says severely lowering.
Yeah. Well, the prices really aren't that bad as far as individual perks, character perks.
No.
I know Kevin said he didn't like some of the fact that it's character perks, but I liked it. The only thing, and even one of our YouTube viewers said they need to put something. It'd be nice to put something in for social, because social is the hard. Okay. So let me make sure I preface this for me and me alone. For me, social points are a pain in the ass to get if you're running hard modes
or just doing PvP.
Right. And PvP is questionable, but PvP is really
they're antisocial anyway.
They're only antisocial if they don't join the group. There's no story mode to it.
Right,
so
that's true. Good point.
You're just
forget I mentioned it.
But it would be nice to see a gain in that, so that you were able to get some of the gear a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm running non-stop Flashpoint since 1.3 dropped in, and I'm still not my social on Naga is still not 5, and that's what I need to get the Voss gear. Yeah. And you get 5. What is it? There's based 10. On group between 2 and 8 points in a Flashpoint per conversation answer.
Yeah.
So it really does. It's not huge.
Boss fights too. You get.
Yeah. And it's actually bad enough that people are doing regular mode Black Talon on their 50s
over
to get
and
social.
over and over
Yeah.
and over.
And that just seems like a waste of time to me.
Yeah.
I like this name. Bobbert Cole says, I'm looking at these names, Lanyard, and I think they've heard our show. Because
they're all pronounceable. They did it just for you.
Titties. Bobbert Cole says, could you elaborate, please, on the role you see deception assassins playing? Are they close to operating in the way you envision?
Yeah.
And
I like this guy. I like Austin's answer actually. Because,
I'll let you read it then.
Okay. It's well, I'll go ahead and read the whole thing because actually it's not. So okay. So it says first as to whether or not they're operating close to what we've envisioned. The answer is depends who's the operator is. From the videos, logs, and anecdotes players provide us, it is really very much the answer for all specs. Some people get it and play it to its potential, and some people don't. Frequently, the ones who don't are hitting brick walls because their expectations for what the spec should be like or should be capable of are different than what their spec is actually designed for. So in other words, if you're a tank and you're trying to heal people, you're a moron. In the case of Deception Assassins, we see and hear about a lot of players expecting to go toe-to-toe with tough enemies. They expect that since they're melee spec, they should have the survivability they need to withstand the front lines. That's true for some melee specs, but that's not what Deception Assassins were designed for. Deception should be epitomized Deception should be epitomized hit and run and lone wolf gameplay. Obviously, that's less the case in Operation Boss encounters, but if this is a question of sustained DPS, the short answer is that they hit within the same 5% grace window targeted by every DPS spec in the game. In solo and PvP environments, Deception is meant to be high burst, high mobility, shutdown spec. When played properly, they provide some of the highest burst and highest pressure in the game. However, Deception is not a great partner. He can't take hits. His vulnerability, oops, I just skipped a line. His shutdown requires that he set the pace of the fight, and his escapes leave allies open and vulnerable to counterattacks. I say that, but I've seen players dash my expectations and turn Deception into a spectacular teammate. Unfortunately, I've seen many more players try to face tank and fail. Assassins have a great team support role, Darkness. They also have a great well-rounded high utility role, Madness. We left Deception to take the opportunity to do something fun and very different, but that comes with the risk of missing player expectation. If you like Deception and you want to pull it off, my suggestion is that you pick your fights and plan ahead. But I'd also warn that Deception is a spec of extremes. I would not describe it as well-rounded. See, now I love that. That Austin, I think you did it. I don't play a Deception assassin, but I think he did it a great way of explaining exactly what that role is. So if you're trying to do it and you're trying to isn't doing it, well, there you go. That it wasn't designed.
It's nice to see them give a well-rounded view of what they designed the spec for.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people they pick a spec because they hear it's great for this and they hear it's great for that. Mm-hmm. When people are leveling a healer, they'll ask in game, well, what's the best healer? Mm-hmm. Well, what kind of healing are you looking
to do? Yeah.
Are you looking to heal a tank? Are you looking to heal, an entire group? Right. What do you want to do?
PvP.
Right. And it's hard to say. It depends on your play style. Right. And that very much clear cuts it for somebody.
That's
here's what we went with it. I would love to see more descriptions like that. Like, what did you guys envision it? Because we're using it in this way. How did you guys see it? Like when you were building the character and the play style for that particular spec, what were you thinking of?
It's almost that the way he described that, it reminds me a lot of what the rogue used to be in WoW.
Yeah. It
was just you go in, you do your attack, and you bug out of there, and then somebody else finishes them off for you.
Yeah, I believe it was my nephew and I had I want to say it was mutilation spec robes, and it was literally you went in, you would hit them with like 3 or 4 really
Just
high
huge
energy hits,
and
and they
out.
were just fucked.
Yep.
You know, it wasn't like a stunlock rogue where you were trying to, you know, survive and be able to stop people from hitting you. It was the idea that you hit them so hard, so fast, there was no returning.
Right.
And then if you got into a sharp spot, you just vanished. And
vanished, bug out of there. Yep.
Yeah. So you're right. I do like the way he went about that. It makes me very happy to see that they're showing they're willing to give you the long version.
Yeah.
And it looks like Colden here says every class who fights primarily in melee range, assassins, warriors, power tanks, gets some type of ability. Get some kind of ability they can use to close the distance within 30 meters. This is except for operatives. What's the reason behind operatives' apparent lack of ability to quickly get range to deal the most damage, their damage on the most powerful attacks? You know, and really, if you look at power attacks and warriors, assassins are the only caveat to this, because assassins are, the assassins have, they have a sprint ability, but operatives, for the most part, depending on how you do, if you're talking about damage, you're talking about PvP, or maybe a boss encounter. In PvP, you're pretty much sneaking up on someone and relying on the surprise attack to gain your most damage. But it says, Austin brings out another one here. He says, in PvP, the short answer is a combination of stealth, including cloaking screen, the ability to self-cleanse or self-heal. Operatives also benefit from a good deal of control with snares, sleep dart, debilitate, my favorite, flashbang, my most hated, unless I'm using it on someone, with additional root, snare, knockdowns available in the skill trees.
Right.
However, those things do not offer much in the benefit in a boss fight that demand a high level of mobility and switching targets. The question for us becomes, one, how to best introduce a fix for a few encounters without dramatically affecting gameplay in other game modes and environments. That's a much longer answer and something that somewhat of an ongoing discussion. High mobility fights and encounters with a lot of target switching are proving to be fun ways for operative designers to challenge players, so that with that theme keeping up, this issue is quickly floating to the top of our priority list. But you know, I don't know. Once again, I say that if you're looking at it from PvP, and it's always been the problem, or at least it's been the problem as long as PvP has been in MMOs, is that there's a careful balancing act that has to be done between what you can do in PvP and what you can do in PvE. If you're talking about fast mobility in PvE, really you don't have to have a lot unless you're encountering world PvP.
Yeah.
Closing the distance for a power tech or a juggernaut or a tank is important because they have to get in there before everybody else does, and they have to aggro the boss.
Yeah.
In the event of an assassin, they get the sprint that any other Sorc would have, which is understandable because, once again, you want to be able to get in there before anybody else does so that you can gain aggro. Mm-hmm. In each one of those cases, with the exception of an assassin who doesn't do damage, doesn't tank, he's a DPS. Mm-hmm. It sounds more to me like he's looking at it from a PvP perspective. And with the ability for you to be able to heal, assassins don't have it. Power techs don't have it. Juggernauts don't have it. So if you're looking at PvP, you have a few utilities that they do not.
Well,
so
that's the other. The other thing is that I think he was talking about operative. I mean, what else do you want, dude? I mean, you've got the ability to stun lock the shit out of people.
Yeah.
You've got the ability to disappear. I think, right? That they have the vanish for whatever.
What else? Certain levels, yeah.
You know,
but you have several different stun locks. You have the availability to take the jackass who could have jumped, snare him. Yep. You have the availability to blind. You have mobility decreasing effects, so that you're able to take out the people faster in PvP or PvE if you're just fighting trash.
Yeah.
Obviously some of these effects don't work on bosses. But if you're looking at it from a PvP point of view, it's something we've brought up in previous episodes, which is you have a counterbalance for everything that they can do.
Yeah.
So yes, you're not going to be the first guy in the fight. That sucks. If you get in and you sneak in and you stab him in the ass, you've got him. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple. It's something Lanyard's freaked out about. It's something I used to freak out about until I played an operative. You have enough stuns, enough ways to shiv, and to shut someone down for quite a while.
Yeah.
Without having to lose energy or vanish again. So I don't think high mobility in the event of PvP matters. You have the availability to move unseen throughout most of the maps, and take out a lot of people who, as you've pointed out there, Bud, that have high mobility, but they can't get away from you once you get found.
Right.
Would it be nice to have a sprint occasionally? Yes. Do you need one? Not right this minute.
No.
Sprint, if anything, might be something that would be helpful so that you can get to a target quicker, because most rogues had it. That's the only reason I bring up a quick sprint.
Yeah.
But even that should be on a decent cooldown, because sprint was on a cooldown on the road.
I always used it to get the hell out of there. So if I was getting overpowered or something, I'd vanish and then sprint the hell away.
But we got two more here. We got Sindorin. Sindorin says that when you're discussing a new planet, what sort of criteria do you guys lay out for the design of the design process? How do you determine what's in or out, and what the sort of backstory or lore goes into it? Alex Freed here steps in and says, any new world needs to feel different from the worlds around it in in-game terms. The worlds with level ranges just above or below its own, and it needs to push all the overall themes in the story story forward. So we might start with the basic requirement, like we want to show the Republic going on the offensive, and we want a wilderness world. Since we've done a lot of urbanized planets lately, defining the basic requirements isn't too difficult. They can usually determine within an hour or two of group discussion. After that, it gets more difficult, figuring out the details of the world, including whether or not a canon planet to fill the role, or if we want to create a new planet altogether. So one that's already out there in the knowledge base, or something completely different that no one's ever heard of. It says doing that takes much longer, but the basic criteria stay the same. Does the backstory fit the requirements outlined? Does the planet sound fun to play through? Is it practical? If the art department can't build a full planet of, say, a 90-foot tall giant using buildings as melee weapons,
that would be awesome.
Practical.
I want that planet.
Oh, that is a
practical video game like that. Didn't they, like the guy with
Rampage?
Yes. I always played the
arcade, or did you get the?
Arcade. No, I had that arcade. If I see Rampage, even today, if I see Rampage in a 7-Eleven, I'm digging for a quarter, man. I love that game, and I always played the green guy, the lizard dude.
Yeah.
I loved that.
But it says, that it isn't practical no matter what the writing department's able to do. It says elements that contribute to the overall goals of the planet are retained. Elements that don't get put elements that don't get put on the side. Writing, art, and world design work together closely during this process. If it all goes well, we get the planet that has a clear purpose, while being broad enough to support a wide variety of interesting missions. It's odd the direction they seem to be going with this week's. They're giving very, for the most part, concise and interesting answers. They've moved away from the aloofness of their responses. I don't know if that's because of the way they've chosen this week's questions or not.
I think it does. I think it has to do with a lot with the people asking the questions.
Yeah. I mean, they're looking more towards developmental questions and explaining the game a little bit more to people who are just like, well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Which I really think is cool. I won't lie.
Well, that's what they've been wanting this whole time. They don't. That's why they keep saying, please don't ask us questions about what's in the future. The only thing we can tell you is soon or maybe. We're looking into it. That's why they're actually starting to get questions about what's going on in the game right now. That's what they want. They'll like Austin. If you've got a question about a class and what their idea, that's a beautiful question, beautiful answer. If you got questions about, well, what's your idea of this, going on in the game, that's what you need to ask.
And I have to admit, not to kiss the guy's ass or anything, but that was an eloquent answer.
It was a great question. Thank you, Austin.
Yeah. As much as we peck at your paw. And then the last one is Tellus LH is, and this is actually something I've got a little story on. Is there any plan in place to either re-implement or remove codex entries or titles, or remove them entirely from the codex? Damien Schubert says that the codex will get a cleanup pass in the not too distant future, and at that time we will either be removing entries that are no longer obtainable, or re-enabling some of those removed entries if it makes sense to do so. Cool. My point on this was there's a title. It was for it was like Sith instructor or Sith lore, a lore hero or something. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Right.
But there was a secondary title you got on Korriban, but you had to have discovered the Sith Academy, like walk through the doors of the Sith Academy before level 2
at a specific time, right?
Yeah, or else it would drop. Well, you're going in, you're doing all your missions. The only way to get through there is to run through that fucking tunnel.
Right.
By the time you got through the tunnel, you were like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
You get there, you're fucked. You discover it, but it doesn't proc it.
Right. Well, the only other way to do it was to go up the elevator and run all the way around, but nobody does that. I mean, it's
I wouldn't
silly.
have thought to do that. I was like,
no, I wouldn't
shit,
have thought to do
kill,
that either. Yeah.
I guess if you re-roll the character, then that's fine. But at that point, I didn't even know. Well, I was going through and trying to finish out codex entries on my Juggernaut, and I was like, oh, shit, there's a title I've never seen. Well, now I know why I've never seen it, because it was bugged. There were a few forum posts about it, and of course, but they're talking about fixing the codex entries so that things that weren't working or, didn't work, titles and whatnot, are going to be fixed and hopefully work. So if you've already found them, or maybe they'll just delete it and say, now you have to go and find it, that's okay by me too, as long as I can get the fucking missions that I wanted.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're back from our break. Had a little libation. Had to get some wet the whistle juice. Lanyard had to visit the space shuttle head.
That's right.
Let's see. We get any Wookiee news? Oh no! Wow, she stretched without Wookieing.
Yay!
But guys, I tell you guys, and I told Lanyard before the show, I'm actually going to try to get some PvP in this week. And because I want to feel what PvP is like in outside of 1.3. Now that 1.3 is dropped, see what kind of changes they made. I'd like to get my Sork back in there and start doing some damage. Probably start doing some PvP on my lobies, just to check it out. Because we had done the episode about how to not fail terribly bad. I believe it was Hutball.
Yeah.
And we that was a drunken episode that went kind of awry. It was not a bad episode. So you can check out the PvP episode if you're just tuning in for this episode and you're like, well, what are they talking about? Yep. Go get yourself some history. Check out our PvP episode. We covered a basic strategy which would have sounded really well until we started getting really haggard and started going over the same shit over and over again. Possibly throw in a couple of redundancies here and there.
That's all right.
But I think my issue since 1.3 has come out is I hadn't gotten a chance to run any flashpoints. Mm-hmm. Now it's getting to the point where it's feeling mundane, a little bit too normal. Kiwi was telling us that he on his main account or his main server, he doesn't do any flashpoints because flashpoints are humdrum now for him. He's got a lot of gear. He only goes in for ops, and I definitely respect that. But PvP, regardless of your gear, is an ongoing thing. Now, if you're in ranked PvP, and as they do roll out the actual ranked PvP, not just the preseason, but we actually get into
Right.
the full season. It'll be interesting to see what kind of strategies come out.
Well, they need to change that though. I don't like the way that they have the rank stuff. They need to, you need to,
as far as the 8-man teams, or
yeah, but unless you have like your guildies or you have them on your friends list or something like that,
Right.
you have to. There's not an actual team.
right.
You know, it's just a bunch of guys to get together that are individually ranked, and I like the individual rank.
Right.
But as a team, you get the
And I see what you're saying. You're talking
Yeah.
about the idea of a team like what we did in WoW for 2v2s, 3v3s, and 5v5s,
Right.
where you not only had your actual team rank, but you were able to have like your team name,
Right.
whether or not you want to be the Wookiee Slayers versus the Jawa Jackasses,
right.
and that was the team game. Regardless of what you do in any given match, you're either playing as the defenders or the attackers, or you're just going to be, the rotworms versus the, it's been that long, frog dogs. It'd be cool to see if they could implement a scoreboard that literally had your guys' name on it.
Right.
Because I think that would, as an 8v8 team, I think that would really set the tone. That would
Personalize
really
it.
kick ass.
It'll personalize it a little bit.
Give you a little bit more love to it,
Yeah.
as opposed to someone who's probably putting their videos up on YouTube and then plastering the names of the groups or whatever team name they want to give themselves.
Yeah.
The other cool thing, and this is something that of course we don't have, which is the tabard type idea. When you had a PvP group, you had your own battle standard for PvP
Mm-hmm.
that you could drop down, and I think there was even a tabarding system that you could wear. So beyond just, hey, let's all get in the same social gear for this 8v8,
Mm-hmm.
you could actually really personalize it, and I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
But I want to see, as an individual, how PvP is progressing, if people are starting to pick up the strategies, and I'd like to be able to talk to some of our listeners or get some emails from some of our listeners, and maybe put together a little bit of a round table in the future on what to do in these. Guys, we do have Uvu. Uvu is one of our sponsors.
Just
if you don't have it, go to our Podomatic page, click the link, get Uvu, get registered, get us some kickbacks, and get into the show. I would love to have a special edition show, being that
Have some
weeks-
listeners.
Yes, some
Yeah.
weeks the news is a little light, and we know that other players have some of the premium recording gear, that being proper mics that aren't just headset mounted, that they've got clean environments where they're able to record proper audio. We'd love to see some people come in and maybe do a show specifically on how to make it through a bombing run with a Void Star without feeling like a complete asshat. Moving into ranks, right now is the time to get in and start talking about what you're going to do. What is the strategy you think will best behoove you? If you've done some of the pre-launch for ranked war zones, what you're finding is successful, what you're finding is very pitiful. Some of the people maybe you face rolled.
Yeah.
And get your guild name or get your team out there ahead of schedule. Because at some point when this ranking does hit, they're going to do things like World of Warcraft did, where they give you specific mounts because you've won the championship for the server,
Right.
or for and I say server based on worlds. We have the U.S. server, the Asian Pacific servers,
Right.
we have
Right.
The other servers. You're going to be able to be the first.
The other
to get
thing that, right? The
Or
other thing,
whatever they
the other thing they might end up doing is just like in with Blizzard, where they have the big worldwide thing where they have the actual ranks and you're going against it's an actual competition, and then they end up having, well, in Blizzard's case, they have the finals at BlizzCon, so they might do something like that. Obviously, that would be in the future. This game's
Way future.
but
But this
that's
is
something
the time to get in.
yeah,
on it.
absolutely.
And to start marketing your character, yourself as a
contender.
big dog. We see PvP in other games, StarCraft most notably, where they have official leagues and everything based on it. And Blizzard supports that wholeheartedly. I know that BioWare, as many do may or may not know, I don't know. For BioWare, PvP in this game was an afterthought. So it wasn't on the front lines. It's something they're critiquing and playing with. But it would be nice to sit down and shoot the shit with some people who get into it hardcore. Whether or not you're a hardcore PvP guild, you're the guild master, you want to get in. We've said it before. We are not specialists in all sections of the game.
Or any.
That's why we ask. Yeah, in some cases. Obviously, we can't beat Lost Island on our own. So,
no.
But I mean, we'd like to, because that's one of the things I've asked for segments.
Yes.
3 to 5 minute segments that we can drop into our show. Let us relax a little bit and let you guys get your voice heard. That's something we offer up to anybody who listens to the show, anybody who just has a little piece that they want to lend to us to let our viewers or our listeners know what's going on. If you don't have video, Lanyard has been working diligently to help increase the quality of our video as well as the backdrops. We can always throw things in that way. And that would be a great way. I'd like the idea of doing a roundtable discussion. I know a lot of other podcasts for World of Warcraft had done those.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a hardcore raider, on the other side of the spectrum, the PvE side of the spectrum, if you're a hardcore raider, you're number one in the U.S. or some other bullshit. Maybe you're not number one. You're just really good and you like your raid team.
Or you have a certain perspective on the way a certain class should be ran, or some tricks to the trade, so to speak. Any type of stuff like that. Like Dad says, it could a little 5-minute thing or even a 10-minute thing. If you want to do that, I love the idea of being able to have one of our listeners even jump in for 10-20 minutes and just have a quick discussion on stuff as here on Uvu live recorded. You don't even have to have video, as long as you have good solid audio. That's the one thing that we would require. And for the video, we would just you'd just be able to hear it and whatever. So. Yeah. That's great. If you have any ideas like that, or you want to be part of the show in the future, just give us an email, sithtalk@gmail.com. You can even if you don't want to do, that's why we have comments. Throw it down.
If you don't want to be on screen, we respect that.
That's understandable.
Like we always say, we record in Skype. We also record the video from Uvu. Just because I haven't found a adjunct that would allow us to record the audio straight from Uvu as well, so that we could drop either Skype or something like that.
Yeah.
Bring you in on the call, let you have your speaker piece, lend some knowledge to us. A lot of our listeners have said in the past that the reason they listen to us is because we bust our ass to find the news, and we do our homework on most everything. Unfortunately, with just two guys with real jobs, just two schlubs. We're just like every other player. We're out there every day trying to experience our game, but we also we take a few extra steps to try to see what's going on out in the world of Star Wars for you. Almost said World of Warcraft. Fuck. Man, that is an old addiction. It's like heroin. The scars never go away. But we can't be everywhere at all times, and it would be great if our listeners were like, you guys really kind of suck shit on PvP, or, you guys don't really talk about ops, because I know that's a big complaint for a lot of people. Not specifically of our show, because we talk about what we do in ops, but we don't bring a lot of boss fights in, and it's because in some cases we really don't know the strats. We're not hardcore ops runners. We are, I'll say, casual in almost all senses.
Yeah.
We get into the game for the fun, but we would absolutely, I would love to have some input from people who are out there doing ops or out there doing PvP, and they have a specific perspective. I'd like to be able to bring to our viewers the ability to get a roundtable set up. So if you're interested in it, drop us an email at gmail.com and let us know what you guys would like to see in the show. If you have the availability to, if you have recording products or whatever, you can drop an audio clip into our Gmail account if it's small enough. If not, leave me a voicemail on Skype. I normally leave Pamela open when I have Skype open, so just look up Datacar. Drop me, give me a call, my ringer's normally turned off because I don't fucking talk on Skype too often. But even if you want to do that, we can always do a short interview over Skype, and you know, drop your 2 cents, man. Every little bit helps the show grow. Every little bit helps inform our listener base. As the other SWTOR podcasts slowly but surely fall off to the wayside, I am happy to continue to be the frontline man. Lanyard and I never fall out of interesting things that we come across throughout the game to share with you guys, and I think that would just be a lot of fun.
Cool.
You know, but what's up?
Oh, I was looking at on the SWTOR page, trying to just see if I could find anything anything else to be interested in talking about. I thought it said hello and welcome to the official Q&A thread for questions to be answered for the July 20th. So it looks like they're going to be doing another Q&A once again for July 20th. They do it every week. And I was just scouring over some of the preliminary questions that people were asking in the forums. Of course, there's no answers yet, as of yet. But I mean, some of them are okay. Would you consider making rare color crystals, white, green, black, blah, blah, blah? Let's see. Some other ones.
They did. They've already done.
I know that. They've already done that stuff. Will you be revisiting the scaling of Presence Bonus Award in the Legacy system when the level cap is raised? Fear that over time. Wait. Will you be revisiting the scaling of presence bonuses? The presents that you get. Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't what I wanted to know. Let's see. But anyway, that's what I've been looking through, is just some of these. Are achievements coming anytime soon? Hey, what's this guy's name? I want to call him out as an idiot. Tarian. Are achievements coming anytime soon? Yes, they're called codexes.
Yeah, the codex is your achievement pile.
Moving on to smarter questions.
Wow. God, I hope he's not a listener.
One of these. Oh, like you care. You rip on people all the time. Now you're getting me back. Eric the Dork.
Right.
Eric the Dork. Eric the Dark. Sorry, my print is really small. I can't see it as well. It's on my 19-inch monitor. One of the things that made this game great is storyline. Is there a possibility that you can create I'm reading these raw, so
yeah.
So forgive me if they sound stupid after I get done. Is there a possibility that you can create a vendor or NPC that can reset the storyline and use your level 50 to go through class storyline again?
Why? He wants to be able to play he wants to go with the additional options to catch the additional dialogue.
Or he just wants to rip. I don't know why that would be.
I want to go back and really rip the shit out of that out of Thanaton.
Yeah, let's see if there's anything interesting on page 2. This is great because now I can give viewers a great idea of what questions are being asked, and then when we do Q&A next week, we can say, see, there's one that they picked. So okay, let's see. Will we be seeing an expansion on the Celestials or a background story for them? Is that the guys with the big eyes? Those are the Rakatas, aren't they? I'm not sure who the Celestials are.
Who the Celestials are?
Maybe you haven't gotten in there yet. Okay, let's see. We'll be seeing other features outside the game similar to MMOs. Okay, here we go. Here we go. With the recruit and friend system in place, as well as realm changes, will we be seeing other features outside of the game similar to other MMOs, such as race changes? Reasoning behind this is that blah blah blah. I don't care what your reason is, or smaller things like recustomization, such as gender, same gender. Otherwise, I could foresee this messing with blah 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 blah. Or legacy name changes. Whether that's a good question. Other than their stuff in quotations or in parentheses. Yeah. So that's some good. There's some stupid questions in here that they could possibly answer.
So just to touch the Celestials. The Celestials are also known as the Architects.
Did you discover Google? Did you discover Google?
Fuck Google. I got Wikipedia, bitch.
You got Wikipedia?
Wikipedia, hell yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of questions, and the Q&A will be there every week.
Yep.
And I like the idea of giving you guys a preview of that. What I really want is I'd like our listenership to maybe challenge us a bit, have us dare us to try to find some of this shit. I'm not asking for boss fight shit. Don't even fucking bother me. 'Cause I tried boss fights and they're all over the place. But you guys can always follow the forum threads for PvP if you really want hints and tips. What I want is voices. I want people. I want to see what the community thinks from the community. But nonetheless, guys, it's been a fruitful episode. We've covered a lot of ground this week. We've offered you a chance to be, once again, a part of our fantastic, beloved Sith Talk podcast. And, we thank you all for the downloads, for all of the subs on YouTube, for all of the views, for checking out our sponsors, whether it be audibletrial.com/Sith Talk, Green Geeks with the GGS 30 off code, or just clicking on the Uvu link that's available on the Podomatic site. Every little bit helps. Every bit of love makes us happier. We're always happy to hear from you guys. So, as we say every week at the end, we'll see you in the pit.
Thank you again for joining us here on Sith Talk. Lanyard and Dadakar look forward to talking with you next week. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Sith Talk, or stop by our Facebook page at facebook.com/Sith Talk. And of course our Gmail is sithtalk@gmail.com. This music brought to you by freeplay.com. And remember, peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion I gain strength. Through strength I gain power. Through power I gain victory. Through victory my chains are broken. The Force shall free me.
Wait a minute. You didn't record the video?
I didn't record shit.
Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Oh, dude, what am I gonna do with you?
You gotta redo all that.
We got the whole fucking show in the can.